On this episode of First Timers, we start on our 1970 El Camino project. We are starting off with the front passenger side fender with the rust repair on the lower rear portion of the fender. We'll show you how we did it and more. Stay tuned.
Woo! How's it going, YouTube?
What's up, you guys?
We back.
We are back.
Superstars are back. Got Hiro.
Yo.
Alvin here today.
So what are we doing today, Alvin?
We're gonna be working on the El Camino, and we're gonna be removing the fender, repairing a little bit of some rust damage that's in the lower corner.
I'll throw a picture up there.
Yeah, a picture of it. And we'll be doing the same thing on the rear quarter. Obviously, I don't think we're gonna get done in one day or half a day, or however much time we have, but we'll try to get as far as we can. This will be both of our first times actually physically pulling a fender off of the El Camino. So right now I'm not too sure if I'm gonna have to remove the bumper to get to the front fender. But so far all I could tell is it looks like the hood will have to come off, which will be 6 volts. So there'll be 2 on the inside part of the fender, 1 towards the firewall on both sides, and then we can just lift the whole head out. So yeah, we're gonna get started, and yeah, let's jump into it. Hey, and don't forget to like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well.
And if you guys find anything that we're doing useful to somebody, make sure to share.
Yep. So if you know somebody with an El Camino and they need to do all the same stuff, we'll also put the links of where we got the patch panels and all that fun stuff too. So we have a lot of stuff that's going to be going on. We are also thinking about redoing that El Camino seat too. I still haven't figured that out yet. I've been seeing some good prices on certain ones online, so I wouldn't have to do it myself, but I think it would be a good video, so we'll figure it out. But we're going to jump into it.
So as we start on the fender here, you're going to have to make sure that if you are going to leave the bumper on, that you're going to need to make sure that the door is open. There is a little tab that sits right behind the door that there's a bolt that actually goes through there that you'll need to take off, as well as probably leave the door open as you're trying to maneuver the fender in and out. Now, if you notice, I am pulling 3 bolts out that are right next to the headlight bucket. And I'll kind of show you a close-up of that once the fender is off, so you can kind of take a look and see where the locations are with the fender off, just because it's a little easier instead of me having to move the camera directly into that spot. But overall, once we got it out, it was actually doable to actually pull the fender out without having to remove the bumper. If your car is pristine and all that fun stuff, obviously, I would say, hey, pull the bumper off, just so you don't sit there and scratch the paint on the fender. But at this moment, we're able to do it without removing the bumper. But again, probably the best way to do it, and a good habit, would be removing the bumper. But like I said, we'll jump into a footage of it up close.
So the parts where we had to remove, yeah, this screw, and these 2 screws here. Also from underneath, you might have a couple screws here, and then along the edges there. So it wasn't too bad. We have the hood hinges screws here, so easily just drop right in, boom boom. Inner fender well on the back side, and this is, we're gonna say, the outer side of the what's called inner fender well, connected all the way down. 2 bolts here, as well as 1 bolt right behind the door. So just remember kind of how many shims you had in there, just in case you did have body shims, just so it lines up easy again. But obviously we're going to be cutting this bad boy out.
So for those that don't know what a body shim looks like, here, let me go grab one real quick.
Yeah.
Body shims.
So this one had 4.
Yep. So keep them together.
Yeah, just try to keep them, just so you remember the exact size. If not, I think Harbor Freight carries body shims now.
Yep, I saw.
So this skin will cover up this damage here. But if you wanted to do it right, you would almost want to try to either replace this inner brace or fix this back part of the inner brace. But right now, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I just want to get this part on there.
Wow.
And that will make it look nice and new. And
like a brace?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see the holes through it. So
yeah.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm not too picky on this vehicle. Like I said, it's more than anything, it'll be used as kind of like a work truck / muscle car. You know, something that's, carry bike, everything. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll just start cutting braces out. Who cares about weight, right?
Yep, weight savings.
So,
This came off.
Yeah, so that's right there where this was coming from. But, that was probably. Yeah, no, this was okay. Well, we'll see. Yeah. But we have clips, so they do sell whole body bolts and clips on Classic Industries. So if you need to get a whole bolt front clip, bolt fit, Chevelle 70 Chevelle bolt clip should work on the same thing because it's the exact same front end. So, all right, so we'll put that with the bolts. We will start and move over underneath the shade and start cutting. Having some fun now.
All right.
I did buy a air punch flange tool. So one side is a actual punch, the other side is a flanger. So what that means is it'll actually bend. We're gonna want to kind of indent it a little bit. So when we go and we butt it up against the, actually we're not gonna butt it up, we're gonna have it go over the top, sit over the top of this piece. Just so it'll actually kind of sit flush. But I know a lot of people like to butt weld. For me, I would just rather kind of sit it in there and kind of make like a nice little bead, add a little bit of body filler, and call it a day. So yeah, so anyway, flanging tool, it'll, like I said, push this piece down so it'll overlap and the other piece will sit right over the top and we can then weld across. So simple, but you're also gonna notice that there's no cutouts down here, so we'll have to make those. And other than that, yeah, we're gonna jump into it.
All right.
So we're starting off with Hiro using the cutoff wheel. Obviously you can kind of notice that he is wearing a face shield and gloves just for the spark so he doesn't get anything in his eye. I am standing further away, but you just want to make sure that you don't get anything flung in your eye if you are, if there's 1 or 2 people. But other than that, we're starting off with a cut, but I do want to kind of talk about the flanging tool a little more. So we'll actually talk about that flanging tool first before we get too far with the cutoff.
First use, and you want to make sure that that's going the right direction. So let's go right here, and then obviously bend down. And just a nice little bend.
Oh, cool.
And same thing here. Just keep on going, follow the line all the way down.
That is pretty cool.
I've never used an air one before. I've only used manual crimping style. So
hold on. Okay. Show the camera. You guys can see that, right? Hopefully you guys can see this line right here.
Yeah, it's just a nice little bend.
He's creating a bend.
And you want it to be as straight as possible. Like I said, you'll probably get some high spots, but a little bit of body filler and stuff like that
That's pretty cool.
will make it nice. But keep in mind, like I said, this isn't like going to be a fully brand new restoration style car. Obviously if I was doing that, I'd buy a brand new Fender, brand new Fenders and stuff like that. But
yeah, this is the budget way.
Yeah. So, and like I said, you just want to make sure that it's all the way down so it gets a nice bite because you really want it to push. Now, even if you messed up, so like one spot was a little high, I went right back through it and it pushed it right back down. So again, right there, and it's all the way across. All right.
So as we get back to this piece here, now I'm going to be doing a test fit right over the actual frame piece. So you're going to notice that we're going to have to probably weld back onto that. But again, I'm not too worried about it. The idea is that we're test fitting it, making sure that it lines up, that it's straight. And if we need to kind of massage it into any place, we can. Now, once we get past that point, we have the fit where we want it. Now we're going to actually sit there and wire wheel the fender itself off, because obviously when we're welding it needs to be stripped of all the paint and body filler that's already on there, and we'll be able to actually weld directly metal to metal so it actually has a nice bond. And that's the biggest thing here. Now I do want Hiro to do a practice weld first, so I have him practicing on the bad piece of metal. I really want him to kind of get the sound of what he's hearing, where it's like zzz, and you can kind of hear it in the background as I'm talking. And it's, he's doing very good. And like I said, practice, we're not worried about length. Obviously this metal is thinner, so he's gonna need to make smaller welds. on the actual fender itself, so it's not warping the metal. And the idea about that is we're just trying to make sure that we're not having to use a lot of body filler to help, with those warped spots. So we're just trying to make sure that he's welding small sections and it sounds good and it's actually penetrating. So like I said, once he gets there, it's gonna be all on him. So we are getting him set up to practice. Obviously, it is one of those things that it does take time. But the beauty is this is metal work, so I can sit there and grind things down, fix it, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, once you have everything set up, you are going to need some clamps to hold the pieces in place. So once you start welding, they're not going to be moving around or shifting around on you. So we are going to start at the center of the fender of where the patch is. So we're going to start in the center spot, and then we're going to move on our way out. So as Hiro starts to weld, you can kind of hear the nice beads that he's doing, and you can kind of see that we're kind of jumping from spot to spot, and it's from like inner to outer to the opposite side back to the inner again, and we're trying to give it enough time to cool off so we're not, like I said, making the metal wavy. That is really the biggest concern there, because once it's wavy, it's harder to straighten, but it's doable. Now, once the welds are all done, like I said, even if the welds are high, you just want to make sure that they penetrate and it has a very good feel to them. You can definitely hit it with a grinder and actually grind it all the way down. Now, I'm also making my holes on the bottom. I'm using a step drill bit. That's something that you can pick up at Harbor Freight. Very nice and easy to use drill bits, because all you can do is start your hole and then just start just sizing it to wherever you need to go. So right now I'm going to, I think, almost the 8th step on there, just so I can make them. I am going to be using a cutoff wheel to kind of complete the U shape. So right now I'm doing the round part of it where the bolt will be going through, but obviously you need these to kind of slide into those spots. So I'm going to cut 2 lines to cut off that center section of the metal, and now I'll have pretty much an open U. So when I'm going to go and tighten down this whole piece, literally I just slide it on. And make sure that you are using the original sheet metal that you had on there, so you can actually know how much you're taking off and if you're putting in the right section, because you don't want it to be in the wrong section now. But other than that, very simple, very exciting so far. Now, after all of that was done, I was just like, why don't we just sand down this whole fender? Now, the main reason that I wanted to do that is just because we're getting to a point where I kind of wanted to see how much damage is actually on this fender. Obviously, we knew how the big weld hole, so that wasn't too much of my concern, but if there was anything else that I need to worry about, this would be the time to figure that out. Now, like I said, the body damage isn't too bad, so we'll just, once it's all stripped, we're going to be just painting it with a self-etching primer from a company called SEM. So other than that, it's coming along and it looks great. I didn't do the lower portion where the light is just yet, because there's like a little rust hole, so I figured that we can work on tomorrow so we can actually fix that little section. So it is going to take a little longer to finish just this fender, just because of that hole that we found a little later on. But other than that, it should turn out amazing. Like I said, the fender looks straight already, so I'm actually very impressed with it so far. And like I said, we're just taking our time as we're doing it. Now, since this video is going to be in a few parts, I will showcase the finished product in the second video of the fender in some daylight, so you guys can kind of take a look at it and see how it looks there as well. So we are very excited on everything, and like I said, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. There'll be a part 2 coming soon, hopefully in about a week. So hopefully you guys hit that subscribe button, check us out, watch a lot of the videos we're doing, because we'll have some more fun videos coming. We will be, like I said, doing the roof of the El Camino, so that's going to be a fun job, as well as the seats too, so we're very excited about that. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check back next week when we have the second part out, and you guys can come back and take a look at it. Anyway, see you guys, have fun, be safe, all that fun stuff. Laters.